Good morning, guys. It's a wonderful day here. Oh, I need my notes. Hey friends, it's Tess. This is Wonder Wealthy, and today we are still talking about home buying, but I'm gonna be sharing my top mistakes that I made when I bought my first and only, currently, home. So this whole month we are focusing on the steps it takes to become a homeowner, and really for me just answering those questions and giving you the best tips and tricks for buying a home. A lot of people get into the home purchasing process not really knowing what it totally entails. And when I was going through it at the age of 23, I definitely made a lot of mistakes just in the fact that I had no idea half the things that I was actually doing. All I knew was that I really wanted to purchase a home. I had some money saved for a down payment, and I just thought like that was the next natural step that you were supposed to take after you got a job and made a full-time income and saved up some money. Looking back, my home actually wasn't the best investment. Although it does produce a pretty good amount of cash flow for me month to month because I've been able to rent it out even while living in it, it's still, if I compare it to maybe receiving a historical rate of return in the stock market, would be either a wash or I would have been better off putting my money just in the stock market and renting. But you live and you learn. So today I wanted to share some of the biggest mistakes that I made, or just false information, things that I didn't quite understand as I was going through the process of purchasing my lovely condo in Chicago. Dang, this is like good lighting. And my shirt kind of matches the wall over here. Okay, so let's just get right into it. The first mistake that I made was when I was looking at homes to buy, I basically just decided to look for the price range that meant that I could at least put 20% down on a down payment. Yeah, that's a good thing because for me, it was financially wise. It would mean that I wouldn't have to pay private mortgage insurance, and so I would save money, plus I was putting more money down, so I wouldn't have to take out as big of a loan. Pretty good advice in my own head. But the big problem there was that I wasn't considering what would happen after I actually purchased the home. I mean, you can have a huge pot of savings, but then your income that you make, month to month may not be enough to cover the actual costs of the home as a whole. So even though I had saved a bunch of money, I wanted to put pretty much all of that money into my home, and then I didn't really consider the fact that my month-to-month salary might not be enough to cover my mortgage payments, my taxes, my maintenance, my homeowner's dues, everything else that comes into actually owning and operating a house. Now, I was in a pretty lucky situation because I already knew that I was going to be renting out my spare bedroom. So the rent I would be collecting would inevitably cover some of those costs. But I do think that that is where I failed or fell short when making one of the biggest purchase decisions of my life. So yes, you totally want to have a goal, if you can, to put 20% down in a down payment on your home, but you also need to consider the ongoing costs that that means for you and if that fits with your budget or with your salary. It also doesn't mean that you have to spend your entire savings on your home. You can consider buying a smaller home and then just spending less to put less down, just so you can make sure that you have an emergency savings already stashed away too. You want to make sure that you're not thinking too narrow-minded when you are making this big purchase decision. Yes, you want to put a good chunk of change down so you don't have to finance a huge amount of money on your home, but you also want to make sure that you have other savings in place to take care of yourself day to day, month to month, and year to year. So to sum this up, I would just recommend not thinking the stream of thoughts of how much down payment can I afford? Okay, that means I can afford this amount of home. The second mistake that I made when I was on my home search and really looking at like house affordability or how much can I afford, I was using those loan calculators at the bottom of whatever real estate website I was looking at. And I was basically just looking at, okay, if I put the down payment that I know I'm going to put down, what does this mean for my mortgage? How much is it going to cost me monthly? But I didn't factor in the fact that we have real estate taxes and we have homeowners insurance and then the other costs that I've talked about in all the videos I've already created. The biggest problem was I was very young and I was also very new to this whole personal finance world, but I also just totally failed to realize that it was going to cost a lot more than just the mortgage payment. So I was sitting there looking at the mortgage payment and going, oh, that's way cheaper than my rent. I can definitely cover that. But I wasn't thinking about the whole picture. And it's really important to make sure you do the due diligence and go the extra mile to look up what the taxes are going to be for a similar priced and location home in your city and your neighborhood. And then beyond taxes, there's all those other little costs as well that you just need to include. It's wise for your budget. And the third mistake that I made when purchasing my home, and this kind of encompasses a lot of little smaller mistakes that I made, was just not being educated enough. I didn't go out and seek the education I needed. I just really relied on kind of feeling like maybe I would figure it out, but I also probably didn't ask enough questions. And I think I would have been better off if I would have gone out and got the information on my own and found YouTube videos or read some books or read some blog posts. I really think that this falls back on just the standard process of life where we think that we just need to buy a home, and so then we just throw ourselves into that process without being fully prepared. And if you are watching this now, then I commend you, because you are actually going out and finding the information that you're looking for, getting educated and figuring out what to do and what not to do. So congrats to you, seriously. There were things that I didn't know were going on or didn't know what the point was of doing them. I didn't quite understand or even fully really look through the appraisal and the inspection documents. I didn't get super detailed on reviewing the homeowners association notes. I pretty much just went in very naive and didn't know what was going on. Luckily for me, things have worked out. I've had a lot of last minute random expenses and things break down. There's still some unknowns. I think that that always happens in a home that you purchase. There's probably something that someone didn't disclose, but for the most part, it has worked out, and I feel very grateful that it has. But I do think that this was a risky move, and it can be a risky move if you don't go into this process knowing that it's gonna take time and patience to do the due diligence that purchasing and making this large of a purchase requires. So I hope that you can learn from my mistakes. I hope that this video was somehow enlightening and you can take this and apply it to your life as you go forth and make that big home purchasing decision. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know to make more. It really supports my channel. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you are new here. For more of the home buying conversation, come join our private Facebook community, The Wealthy Wanderers. Go to wanderwealthy.com/FB to see how you can get involved. Email, Facebook, both, whatever you want. I communicate to both of those groups on a regular basis, and you can get exclusive content from me, including a home affordability calculator that I just recently created. So go to the website that is right here and come join our group. All right, until I see you next time, I hope you wander wealthy. Bye.